Hey, this is Brian Kurtz with the Short Sale Show, the show where we talk about how you can avoid foreclosure, save your credit, and bring little to no money to closing. Today we're going to wrap up our two-part series on can you go ahead and buy your own second mortgages, home equity lines of credit, things of that nature back at a discount. Make sure you check out the previous episode. If you didn't get the run up to this so you can understand exactly what we're talking about here, we're going to go ahead and get right into it and kick it off. So, continuing where we were from yesterday, the idea being if investors can buy non-performing notes at 3 to 5 cents on the dollar behind your back, idea being that bad debt investor buys your second mortgage that's non-performing because you're not paying on it from Countrywide for super cheap. Example, if you owe a $100,000 second mortgage, they're buying it for $3,000 to $5,000. How come you can't go ahead and buy your own second mortgage back at $3,000 to $5,000? Well, it is kind of possible, sort of, not really, for you to do that. Kind of confused? Well, here's what we need to clarify. It is possible to get it done, but only in a roundabout way. Reason being, pretty much, the banks are not at the point yet where they're willing to take serious write-downs directly to the homeowner. So they'll approve short sales. That's kind of the one that's very common right now. The short sale process, the short sale concept is very fresh and in the mind and understood by the banks right now. Very common process. They're processing so many of them that they're overwhelmed. So it is not unfamiliar to the banks in any way, shape, or form. Short sales are pretty much in vogue right now. Short refinances, not so much. We talk about short refinances here and there. Idea being same, short refinance, same thing as a short sale. Bank takes less for than amount owed. The only difference is you don't move out of the house instead of selling it, and the buyer bringing new cash to pay off the old loan short. You're actually staying in the house and bringing in a new mortgage to pay off the old loan short. Short refinance, not really a very popular concept. A lot of the banks that we work with when we do short refinance applications for people are kind of confused by it. They're like, this doesn't make any sense. We kind of have to walk them through it and explain it, make sure that the decision maker that is behind the yes no decisions on these types of things actually gets the package in front of them and presented in the proper way. Well, the idea of buying your own mortgage back 3 to 5 cents on the dollar at a discount is totally a foreign concept to the banks right now. So, is it possible to get done? Yes, but usually what you need to do is you need the help of an intermediary. You're going to need what we call a cash flow note investor. Now, a cash flow note investor is a non-interested third party, somebody that has cash, liquid cash. You cannot finance this type of thing. It has to be done in cash. And the idea being this, the third-party investor, usually they're in a company, an LLC, so you don't want to call up grandma and say, Grandma, I know you have some money stashed. Why don't you lend me $3,000 to $5,000 to pay off this mortgage at a discount? You'll be the one that buys it, and that's just not going to work. Usually investor is going to be set up with a corporate entity, and the corporate entity is going to approach your bank that holds your second mortgage or home equity line of credit and go ahead and say, hey, I want to buy this non-performing note. All the stuff that goes into getting that done is not a quick and easy process. It's usually full of hurdles and tips and tricks, and you got to be a pro in order to get that done. It's not just like picking up the phone and calling somebody and saying, hey, you want to sell your note? It don't work like that. So it is it does take a little bit of art and science combined in order to get this concept done. But the idea being is this. Banks are used to selling mortgages back and forth behind homeowners' backs all the time, back and forth between investors. So if an investor who positions themselves as a corporate entity buying investments, notes, approaches your bank, it is possible if they have the policy, hey, we sell non-performing notes in sets of one or two, to get that done. If they just have a blanket policy of no, we only sell blocks of notes at one time, then you're kind of dead in the water. It won't really work, unfortunately, until you have somebody try to go ahead and make the attempt on your behalf to work with you on this. You don't know if your bank's one of the banks that is willing to go ahead and sell notes at a discount or not. Certain ones out there that are known to do that, others are not. Pretty much you got to try to before you're going to find out if your bank is one of the ones that is willing to get it done. So idea being this. Investor, you approach the investor, and the investor then starts the process and begins trying to purchase the note. Let's just say your note was with Citibank, and they call up Citibank and say, hey, this non-performing second mortgage you have here, you want to get it off your books, I'll give you $3,000 for it. They hash back and forth. That's the short version. And they just settle on $5,000. Now that investor has to buy the note for $5,000, and guess what? If they're working with you, they're going to expect to get their $5,000 back, and for all of their hard work, they're going to be looking for a pretty decent return, probably anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000, because it's a long process, it's not easy, and they're putting a lot of risk in there if they're going to wire $5,000 over. So you're going to have to repay back the $5,000, and then an additional 5 to 7 to 8, maybe even as much as $10,000. Let's say it's 10. In this scenario, you're going to write a check to the investor for $15,000, and the investor is then going to purchase with his own funds the note, your second mortgage, your second home equity line of credit, second lien on your property for $5,000. He will then release the lien to you, and in essence what you have accomplished is you have bought your note back at a discount, somewhere around anywhere from 10 to 15 cents on the dollar. Once again, that is awesome, awesome returns. How many times would we like to have a money machine where you stick $1 in on one side and it spits a $10 bill out on the other side, right? Or you stick a $100 bill in on one side and it spits out a $1,000 bill on the other side. Awesome, awesome returns, and a great concept if you can get it done. Once again, if you're in a situation where you have absolutely no cash, then this may not work for you, because the investor's not going to do this out of the kindness of their heart. They're not going to be buying bad, non-performing notes if you are especially running the risk of going into foreclosure. So, pretty much that said, that wraps up our series on exactly what you need to do in order to start getting going on having the note on your second mortgage, home equity line of credit, bought out at a discount. Let me go put a little side note in there. This doesn't really work well for first mortgages. Every now and then it can happen, but first mortgages are more difficult to do because they're in first lien position. They're getting the house back, and so it takes a little bit more work if you only have one loan. Much easier to do if you have second mortgages, home equity line of credits that are non-performing. So think about this. Remember how we talked about not paying on the second mortgage if they're not willing to work with you? While the bank may not be willing to work for you on a short refi, they may be willing to do this whole sell the note at a discount thing. When you stop making payments on the second mortgage and you contact an investor and put this all into play, you may be able to go ahead and buy your debt back at a steep, steep discount, make your life more affordable. Do I sound crazy? I hope not. You go ahead, tell me. Let me know what you think about this idea in the comment section below if you're watching on shortsaletheshow.com. And of course, if you think that this should be shared with the world, that other people should know about it, go ahead and click the dig buttons, the Technorati buttons, all of those Web 2.0 social media buttons below, and go ahead and share this information with the world so they can find it a little bit easier. And I will see you next time on the Short Sale Show.